I was dying, but that is not how this story starts. This story starts with 5 words that would haunt my 13-year-old son Ziggy for the rest of his life. 5 words that contained everything I learned too late about success, about chasing dreams, about what really matters when everything else falls away. But to understand why those 5 words shattered my boy's heart, you need to know about the choice I made in 1977 that sealed my fate. You see, there was a doctor in London who looked at my toe and said something that should have terrified me. Instead, I walked out. I chose music over medicine. I chose the stage over surgery. I chose my mission over my life. But here is what nobody tells you about dying young. The hardest part isn't leaving the world behind. It is looking into your child's eyes and realizing you chose everything else over them. Let me take you back to where it all went wrong. London, 1977. I was at the peak of everything I'd ever dreamed of. The Exodus album had just dropped, and Time magazine would later call it the album of the century. Can you imagine? A poor boy from Trenchtown creating the album of the century? The tours were selling out. The message was spreading. Reggae was becoming the voice of the oppressed worldwide. But my right toe was killing me. It started with a football injury, something so simple, so ordinary. I loved football almost as much as music. It was my escape, my joy, my way of staying connected to the boy I used to be. During a match with friends, I injured my toenail. Just a bruise, I thought. Just a mark under the nail that would heal like everything else. But it didn't heal. It got darker, uglier, more painful. Rita, my wife, kept nagging me about it. Bob, that doesn't look right. You need to see a doctor. But I was invincible, wasn't I? I was spreading Jaya's message across the world. I had divine protection. What could a little toe injury do to stop the revolution? The doctor's words still echo in my mind. Mr. Marley, this is malignant melanoma. It is aggressive. If we don't amputate your toe immediately, it will spread throughout your body. It will kill you. Amputate, cut off part of my body, mutilate the vessel Jah had given me. No, I said. In Rastafari, the body is sacred. I cannot cut away what Jah has made whole. The doctor leaned forward, his face grave. Mr. Marley, I don't think you understand. Without this surgery, you have maybe 2 years to live. With it, you could have decades. 2 years. Decades. Those words hung in the air like smoke from sacred fire. But here is what that doctor didn't understand. I had work to finish, albums to record, messages to deliver, people to wake up. The revolution couldn't wait for my recovery. The world needed to hear about one love, about unity, about rising up from oppression. So I made a choice that would destroy my family. I chose the mission over my mortality. For the next 4 years, I toured relentlessly. Europe, America, Africa, Asia. Every stage became a pulpit. Every song became a prayer. Every concert became a chance to plant seeds of consciousness in hearts around the world. The pain in my toe spread to my foot, then my leg, but I kept performing. I kept pushing. The cancer moved through my body like an invisible enemy. But I convinced myself it was just fatigue from the touring, just the price of spreading the message. Jah would protect me, the music would heal me. But cancer doesn't care about your mission, it doesn't respect your faith, it doesn't pause for your revolution. By 1980, I could barely walk. The Uprising tour was torture, but I wouldn't stop, couldn't stop. Every time I thought about slowing down, I remembered the faces in the crowd. The way people's eyes lit up when they heard the message, the way music could transform pain into power. Then came the 21st of September, 1980, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I was on stage performing when the world started spinning. My legs gave out. I collapsed in front of 15,000 people. That is when I realized I was losing. The tests in New York were devastating. The melanoma had spread everywhere. Lungs, liver, brain, stage 4. Terminal. The doctors gave me months, maybe weeks, but I still wasn't ready to surrender. I flew to Germany, to Dr. Eisel's clinic, chasing alternative treatments that promised miracles. For 6 months, I endured experimental therapy that stripped away my hair, my weight, my strength. Rita stayed with me. My children visited when they could. They watched their father disappear piece by piece. By April 1981, even I had to admit the truth. I was dying, and I wanted to die at home in Jamaica, surrounded by the land that had shaped me. But my body was too weak for the journey. The flight from Germany had to make an emergency stop in Miami. I was rushed to Cedars of Lebanon Hospital. The revolution was ending in a sterile room, thousands of miles from home. That is when my children started coming to say goodbye. Ziggy arrived on May 10th. He was 13 years old, the same age I was when I first picked up a guitar. Old enough to understand that his father was leaving. Young enough to believe it was somehow his fault. When he walked into my hospital room, I saw the shock in his eyes. The man he remembered, strong, powerful, full of life, had been reduced to 80 pounds of skin and bones. But when he looked at me, I saw something else. Love, pure, unconditional love. "How are you feeling, Dad?" he asked, trying to be brave. "Tired, Ziggy, so tired." He sat beside my bed, holding my fragile hand in his young, strong one for a moment. I remembered holding him when he was a baby, this perfect little life that Rita and I had created. Back then, the future seemed infinite. I thought I'd have decades to teach him everything, to watch him grow, to be the father I never had. "Dad," Ziggy said quietly, "why didn't you get the surgery? The doctor said it could have saved you." And there it was. The question I'd been avoiding for 4 years. Why hadn't I chosen life over mission? Why hadn't I chosen my family over my fame? Why had I believed that the world needed my music more than my children needed their father? "Ziggy," I whispered, "I thought I was doing something more important than staying alive. I thought the message mattered more than the messenger." His eyes filled with tears. "But we needed you, Dad. We needed you here, with us." That is when the truth hit me like lightning. I had spent my entire adult life singing about love, about unity, about what really matters, but when it came time to make the ultimate choice, I had chosen everything except love. I had chosen the crowd over my children, the stage over my family, the revolution over the relationships that gave my life meaning. "Ziggy," I said, my voice breaking, "I made mistakes. I chose the music over you kids, over your mother. I thought I had time. I thought I could make it up later." He squeezed my hand. "Dad, we understand. You were doing important work." "No," I said firmly. "Don't make excuses for me. I am telling you this so you don't make the same mistakes." I looked directly into his eyes, trying to burn this moment into both our memories. "You are going to carry this music forward," I continued. "You and your brothers and sisters. The message doesn't die with me. But Ziggy, don't do what I did. Don't sacrifice everything for success. Don't miss your children's lives. Don't put the mission above the people you love." He nodded through his tears. "I won't, Dad, I promise." Then I told him something that had been weighing on my heart for months. "Remember this, Ziggy. Remember it always." "What, Dad?" I took the deepest breath my damaged lungs could manage. These would be my final words to my son, my final lesson, my final gift. "Money can't buy life." 5 words. 5 words that contained everything I had learned too late. All the success in the world couldn't buy me one more day with my children. All the platinum records couldn't purchase the chance to watch Ziggy graduate, get married, have children of his own. All the fame couldn't buy back the bedtime stories I didn't read, the football games I missed, the quiet moments I traded for spotlights. Money can't buy life. Not more time, not more chances. Not more moments with the people who love you unconditionally. Ziggy was crying now, and so was I. Outside the hospital window, Miami hummed with activity. People going about their lives, chasing their dreams, making the same mistakes I had made. But in that room, time had stopped. The next morning, May 11th, 1981, at 11:45 a.m., I died. I was 36 years old, but here is what I want you to understand. My death wasn't tragic because I was young. It was tragic because I chose everything else over the time I could have had with my family. Jamaica declared a national day of mourning. Over 100,000 people attended my funeral. World leaders sent condolences. The entire planet grieved the loss of reggae's prophet. But in the quiet moments, away from the public ceremonies, Ziggy sat with my final words echoing in his mind. Money can't buy life. He kept his promise to me. Ziggy formed Ziggy Marley and the Melody Makers with his siblings. They recorded albums that honored my message while creating their own sound. Ziggy won 8 Grammy Awards. He toured the world. He became a legend in his own right. But Ziggy never forgot my warning. He made time for his family. He was present for his children in ways I couldn't be. He found balance because he understood what I learned too late. Success means nothing if you are not alive to enjoy it with the people you love. Today, over 40 years after my death, people still quote my songs about love and unity. But the most important words I ever spoke weren't in a song. They were whispered to a 13-year-old boy in a hospital room in Miami. Years later, Ziggy told an interviewer something that broke my heart all over again from wherever my spirit rests. I used to pray every night that my father would just come home and teach me guitar instead of teaching the world. I wanted him to choose me just once. But he also said this: his final words saved me from becoming him. Every time I am tempted to miss my daughter's recital for a recording session, I hear his voice. Money can't buy life. Money can't buy life. If you are watching this and sacrificing time with your family for work, for success, for money, hear my final warning. Nothing you are chasing is worth missing your children's lives. You can't buy back time. You can't purchase moments. You can't pay for one more day. I learned this too late, but you don't have to. The revolution, I thought, was so important. It would have continued with or without me. But my children only had one father, and I gave them everything except what they needed most: my presence. Don't make my mistake. The stage will always be there. But your family's childhood, your partner's love, the quiet moments that make life worth living, those don't wait for your schedule. Money can't buy life. Remember that. Live that. Because one day you'll be in a hospital bed, and the only thing that will matter is whether you